go. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Let's go back to my trading room. Yeah. Just give me a second here. Just setting up the webinar for custom streaming service. Redirecting. Okay, we should be good to go. Here we go. Zoom. Yep. All right, we are good to go there. All systems go. We just have one more button to click, and then we are good to go here, 100%. This is it right here. All right, now we're all good. We are good, good, good. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, my name is Hugh. This is Week in Review, Day Trade Spy. There's a picture of me with my beautiful dog, Lucifer. When she's bad, we used to call her Lucifer, F-U-R. When she's good, which she always was, we used to just call her, hey, Loose on the goose for Deuce. Okay, there I am in living color. I think you're going to have to close the blinds back there because of the light in behind us here. Let me see if I hit the right button on that one here. There we go. It's presenting putting me in the shade there. All right. And maybe that's not such a bad idea. All right, we'll just keep it at this. Okay, there we go. All good. All good. Yeah. It is Sunday, August the 3rd, folks. 2025. Summer's halfway through, if you can believe it. A little more than halfway through. Pretty soon before you know it's going to be Labor Day. All right. So anyway, just as a reminder, don't forget, of course, to use the questions box. You'll find a little icon in your Zoom dashboard. Click on that. I'm the only one that sees the questions, and I'll certainly try and get to any questions that you might have. And yeah, good evening, everybody. Bobby in Stuart, Florida. Good to hear from you, and everybody else. All right. Okay, and I'm gonna just leave you with this disclaimer for a few seconds. I'm sure you know what this is all about. We have to put this up to keep the lawyers happy. So we'll just leave this for a few seconds. Let's read it. All right. You alone are responsible for all your own trading, and past performance does not guarantee future results. Let's get on with the show here. Let's get on with the program. So what are we going to talk about here tonight? We are going to talk about last week, review that last week, and give you a little poll here just for fun. I'm going to talk about the upcoming week, a 2-minute tutorial, your next steps to success. Going to give you a little Q&A session. Anybody's got any questions? Got a little contest at the end of it all. Winner gets an ebook, Triumphs and Tragedies, the ebook. And going to be pretty easy contest. You don't even need any skill. You just have to guess the number 1 to 10. Sorry, 1 to 100. Anyway, we'll get to that later. All right. All right. So for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Hugh. Learned most of what I teach from the trenches, deep in the trenches. That's what I learned it. Discovered some cool strategies. People saw that I'm having some success, so they coursed me into teaching them what I'm doing. And the rest is history. I've been training internationally since 2010. We are now in our 16th year, and I am looking for short-term breakout trades. That's what I do. All right, we're going to go quick tonight because I want to kind of keep it under an hour because it is the summertime, and I hear the outside beckoning me. You, come on, play. We're all waiting for you. We got a fire going. Got some libations out here. Yes, life on the beach. Life on the beach. Folks, Spy on the Market. This is a newsletter. I can't even talk here. A free newsletter, e-newsletter. Goes in your inbox every Thursday. Yes, I write it. It is free. It is exciting, brief 3-minute read. Maybe not even that. Light, relevant, even entertaining. Excuse me. All I have to do is subscribe at DayTradeSPY.com. Go to the website. When the little pop-up comes up, leave us your email address, and you're going to get right on that. And if you don't want to do that, you can still go to the website. And up at the top left corner where it says Spy on the Market, e-newsletter, or whatever it says, just click on that. You can get all the back issues as well. All right. And this week's topic is going to be same day versus longer out expirations. All right. Same day versus longer out expirations. Now let's get to the market, see what happened this last week. I don't have to tell you what happened here. Checked a lot of new highs and new lows. Well, not new lows, but lows we haven't seen in a while. On Monday, pre-market new highs on um, European Union trade agreement quickly dissolved right here as traders, right? As traders await more bad tariff news. Yes, the Trump tariffs was in the news all week long. Balanced off with tech earnings. We had some pretty major earnings from the tech sector. Microsoft, Amazon, who else? Apple, Meta. A lot of these big companies reported this last week. SPY closed fractionally higher than the day before for its sixth straight session. We had three wins, one loss that day. It's actually not a very good week for us, to be honest with you. Tuesday, we had disappointing earnings, including 2.5% lower on Meta, 1% plus loss on Apple and Tesla. Well, they weighed heavily to end lower on SPY and snapping a six-day record closing highs. We had three wins, two losses. Again, not a good session for us there, but I was okay, but not great. SPY slipped as Fed Chair Powell failed to spark hope of interest rate cuts. Post-market turn to big tech earnings. We had five wins, two losses. Some of those losses, I should go back, are probably not really losses because for reporting purposes, when we enter a trade, we have to close out by the end of the day. So we close out. But in the trading room, most often we told people, say, listen, if it was me, I would stay in the trade overnight because I believe that it's going to come into profit tomorrow or the next day or something. And most of the time it did. All right. So even though it's showing a loss, perhaps, it doesn't mean we actually took a loss. It's just like for reporting purposes, we had to do that. Anyway, on what was it Thursday? Thursday we had another new high up to 641.57. Frankly, never thought we'd see that in a long time, but there it is. Then it was downhill. That was in pre-market. Then it was downhill ever since President Trump unveiled his plan to levy tariffs on trading partners. Sent out about 150 letters, say, okay, here's your tariff, here's your tariff. It's like here's your extortion. You guys are going to be paying anywhere from 10 to 42% or whatever it is. SPY dropped 1.6% on Thursday. We had 10 wins, one loss. Friday, stocks across the globe suffered as Trump tariffs threatened to upend decades of international cooperation, closing at levels not seen since July the 16th. We wiped out pretty well the last 2 weeks of gains. Six wins, one loss. So we ended up with about what's that, two, four, five, six, seven losses, which is actually probably the most we've had in a long, long time. Normally we don't lose, but this last week was not a great day for us. Anyway, there we are here. This is a seasonal chart, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, let's go back here. I want to kind of show you what this is here. All right. Blue line is the current SPY price. You can see how it just dropped over there at the last little bit. Red line here at the bottom is the composite of the last 5 years closing price on the daily charts. All right. And historically, we've seen in the last 5 years, SPY rose about 4 points from last week. And SPY actually dropped 3 points the following week. And let me just correct this one little typo that I've got in here. There we go. SPY points. There we go. SPY actually rose about, oh, wait a second. What was this? Rose or dropped? Rose. Rose. Actually, no, it did not rise. It actually dropped. Dropped. It dropped about 3 points the following week. Who wrote this anyway? Okay. So we're going to see what happens in the week coming up. All right. Historically, this is like the summer, the August time when it's, when you see a lot of selling going on and a little nervousness coming into the market. But that's kind of what we saw. We'll see. Now, that's not to say that the markets are not going to replicate that again, or maybe they're going to be a little bit different. Personally, I think that after the big drop we had in the last couple of days, trading days, we'll probably see some sort of a reversal, but we'll see what happens on Monday and Tuesday. This last week, the Feds kept interest rates on hold, 4.25 to 4.5%, noting the continued uncertainty on the impact of tariffs as President Trump keeps threatening Fed Chair Powell, trying to fire him. They didn't want to. He knew he couldn't really fire him. He's not. He doesn't work for Trump. Not sure how that works. but he tried to get him on some kind of a fraud or something. He even toured the Federal Reserve to see where he can nail him for fraud. Is looking at the renovations and said, "Well, it's way over budget." Well, gee, Mr. Trump, President Trump, that was 5 years ago that we did that building. Okay, we'll see what happens. May take some time to see the impact on inflation. That's what the Feds are saying. No indication that September is going to have any cuts, but markets pricing in higher probability of a September cut. We're going to see what happens there. They are talking about it. Some tariff deals were cut, including the UK, Japan, European Union, but other countries were assigned 15% or higher. Tariffs are expected to have negative effect on prices and consumption over time, and that's what the Feds are concerned about. They um, they pretty well know that tariffs are going to be inflationary. They're just kind of preparing for it. They don't want to be they don't want to fuel inflation by lowering interest rates, which is going to make it's just going to put gasoline on fire, right? But so that's what the battle's all about. I'm actually a little surprised at how many people don't like Fed Chair Powell, and I'm trying to see why not. Because personally, I think he's doing the right thing. Am I the only one? He's trying to curb inflation. And if you lower interest rates, you get more inflation, and then bring in the tariffs, you can see inflation just going up like crazy. So, but anyway, that's just my opinion. Labor market still showing signs of a slowdown. Unemployment or rate ticked a little bit higher. Not much, 4.1 to 4.2% this last week. And after a nice rally, investors do face worry over higher tariffs and a softer labor market. And that's one of the reasons the market came down this last couple days here. Probability of a rate cut has gone up, though, for September and October and December Fed meetings after a soft jobs report. This is the chart that shows us here, courtesy of CME, Fed Watch. In the previous meetings, these are the numbers here, and now we're seeing higher rates for the probability of a rate cut. We'll see what happens there. Here's some of the tariffs that have been implemented here for some of these countries. Obviously, not all the countries are on here. There's a lot of countries, but we've got some countries here. The UK was kept at 10%, Japan 24%, 20% for the EU, European Union. South Korea's risen up to 25%. Vietnam 20 to 46. Mexico, China, Canada, they're still out in the on the out for talks right now to see what's going on. Um, Canada has they missed the target. They're supposed to have their proposals in by the 1st of August, and it failed. So they were slapped with a 35%. Now that, of course, excludes the U.S., Mexico, Canada um, compliant products that they have. So there's a lot of products that are actually covered in the USMCA, all right, agreement. So it's not as bad as it seems. I think it's going to get hit with steel, aluminum, that sort of thing, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, some countries did get 90-day extensions. August the 12th is the next trade deadline, and we'll see what happens. U.S. non-farm job gains have been softening. They've been revised substantially lower over the last 2 months. You can see how they're down 73,000 here instead of what it was earlier here. So these are the numbers that are showing that the job market, the non-farm jobs, are softening. That did not sit very well with President Trump, by the way. We'll talk about that in a little bit here. Busy week of earnings ahead. Q2 earnings. Let me just see here. These two slides were not supposed to be in here, so we're going to delete them. We're going to jump right away here to what happened last week. S&P dropped 2.4%. Year to date, we're still up 6.1%. It's interesting because the Nasdaq also dropped by 2.2%, but they were up year to date 6.9%. So the Nasdaq is made up mostly of the overvalued tech sectors, the heavy capitalization tech sectors. I believe Microsoft is now in the $4 trillion club, something like that. Dow, all three indices dropped 2.9% for the Dow. They're up still 2.5% year to date. We've got 6.1% for the S&P, 6.9 for the Nasdaq. They're still chugging along. So, but it's kind of crazy how the market really took a tank this last week, and we're still doing okay. July still cleared the The opening, we're still over where we started in July, even though the last couple of days had come down pretty good. All right, so here is the I don't know what's going on here. Some of my PowerPoints are just kind of messed up. Here's a poll, all right. So President Trump did not like the monthly jobs figures, claiming that the numbers were rigged to make him look bad after showing a slowdown in July and much weaker hiring in May and June. So he fired the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics here, Erica McIntyre, I hope I pronounced that right, director. He fired her. If he doesn't like the numbers, he fires you. You're fired. A little crazy. I think that's a little over the top. I mean, if you don't like the numbers, why don't you do an audit? I mean, there's, I think, believe hundreds of people that work in the Bureau of Labor Statistics. It's not like one person's pulling these numbers out of the air or anything like that. There's a lot that goes into these. They assess a lot of different companies and take take surveys and different things. These numbers are very calculated out, and they understand the importance of these numbers and how they affect things. So to say the numbers are bad, I mean, this there's just reporting. They're just the messengers. But so he fired the director. And my question to you, do you think that was right? Should he have fired her? Uh, and does this look bad on him? In other words, if you don't like what I, if you don't like the narrative, you get fired. Really? Really? Okay, let's just see what people say out there. I just want to kind of see. Yes, no, we're not sure. Please punch it up in the questions box. Just curious to see here. Okay, let's see. Right. No, not sure. No. No, 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 no. Oh, there's one yes. Two yeses. Interesting. All no's except a lot of really heavy no's. No, no, no. Yeah. Now Trump will report nothing but glowing stats. No. Let's see. There's another yes. Interesting. No, not sure. No, over the top. Everything's all about him. Nothing else matters. No. Now everyone's going to look over their shoulder. Bad leadership, even though I like most of his stuff. Interesting. Not sure. Another yes. Not sure. No, not sure. Another yes. No, 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 no. Yes, it's always been rigged. Not sure why you say that. I don't know. People who say things are rigged or they're cheating or they're fixed or something, I think you have to kind of come up with some kind of proof. And I don't know if we can or not. I'm kind of relying on these organizations to come up with accurate numbers, and I think we'd have to trust some of these numbers, or at least, maybe they should be audited. I think there should be an audit function to make sure that these numbers are, in fact, complete and accurate, right? Are you surveying only a certain part of the country, say a poor part of the country or a rich part of the country? Are you surveying only the companies in New Orleans or only in Miami or only in Las Vegas or only in in somewhere in Tennessee or something? Like or is it across the board? Like I think there should be some kind of an audit function before you just get fired. There's another yes, you're fired. Of course, you should fire her, and you should fire Epstein now. Yeah, okay. No, no, no. Could be a taco. No, no. Yes, another yes. Wow, not sure. Hate to be a replacement. Oh, can you imagine being a replacement to somebody who's been fired? Uh, I think the next person is not going to report. They're going to say, "Well, gee, Donald, what would you like the numbers to be?" That's what we'll report. Yes, the Biden holdover should all be replaced. Okay, I like that answer. If it was a Biden, yes, okay, now that makes sense. If it's a Biden holdover, I would say clean house. Okay, that makes sense. And that I believe she's a Biden holdover. Not sure. Yeah, she's been with for 2 years. Many errors. I'm surprised if Trump didn't fire her 6 months ago. Now that's interesting. There have been many revisions to these numbers, these employment numbers. So there is something going on, huh? They constantly have to readjust. Yes, audit that department. Not sure, not sure. A lot of great comments. Well, a lot of people chiming in here. No, I'm not sure if you're saying this, but I believe the numbers were revised significantly, which could have potentially changed Powell's decision. Yes, they should be fired. Now that's interesting, right? Because Powell's decision, in part, is based on some of these numbers, right? He's making decisions based on the data, and if you don't get bad numbers in, was it garbage in, garbage out? So that's actually pretty interesting. So maybe with a new director in there, we'll see different numbers. But who audits the auditors? Who audits the auditors? I'm an auditor, and I've been since Friday the 13th, September 1968. Well, you'd have to think that auditors are, you've got your supervisors and you've got a lot on the line here as an auditor that you're not going to, your job is to audit. So I don't think it's just a single person auditing. You probably have to have a number of auditors auditing and make sure they come up with the same conclusions. And yeah, okay. Interesting. All right. So what's the consensus? A bunch of people said no, a lot of people said yes, and a lot of people are saying yes, any Biden holdovers should be replaced, should be fired. So there you have it, a really good mixed bag. So that's an interesting point, and I don't have any stats on all this, but I just threw that out there to see what the opinions are of that. So and I thought before that yeah, the numbers should be audited, but I'm kind of changing my opinion that maybe you're right. I think any Biden holdovers should be replaced, right? There's going to be an inherent loyalty to the Biden camp, and I think yeah, if you're going to have a new regime, clean house, get all new people in there, right? All right, so what's going to happen on Monday? Low no news day. Tuesday, we've got ISM, Institute for Supply Management Services, PMI. We also have an S&P Global Services PMI report. Low no news on Wednesday. Unemployment claims on Thursday, and again, low no news on Friday. Kind of a relatively quiet week as far as scheduled news is concerned. Now, there's still lots of earnings coming out, so we'll see if the earnings are going to affect the markets at all. The earnings have been generally positive. They've been beating the estimates as a rule. Some major earnings have been a little, I was going to say disappointing, but I should just rephrase that. A lot of the earnings have been really good. They've been really beating the estimates, like Amazon, but their future outlook is questionable and uncertain. And they don't know, and they're expecting inflation and stuff. And that is an example. Amazon, the earnings were really, really good, but the stock dropped. In fact, it tanked like crazy because of the future outlook. It was not rosy. So traders, investors are looking for the future. What's going on in the future? So looking at these news items here, we expect the volatility to be low on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Medium on Tuesday and Thursday. All right, medium on Tuesday and Thursday. All right, so we'll see if we can make some money in those days. Usually with low volatility, there's not much of a move on the markets. I mean, there is, but you have to be a little more patient and drop your expectations. If you're looking to make, 10, 20%, you might want to bring it down to 4 or 5%. You know what I'm saying? Or if you're looking to make, say, 15 cents on an option, well, you might be happy with 10 to 12 cents. Because low volatility, this is what happens. Now, when there's high volatility, you get a lot of movement, and there's a lot of potential gains, much more potential gains to make with higher volatility. But if the volatility is going to be a little bit lower, we're going to see what happens. All right, now the volatility may pick up because of the big drop, so we might see some higher volatility if it heads back higher. We'll see what happens there. Um, Seems to me that the futures were actually picking up here earlier here this afternoon. The S&P futures currently are sitting around 8.75, 9 points. The S&P, the Nasdaq is up 47 and a half, and the Dow is up 45 points. Gold is up 7.9. Oil slipped 33 cents. So that's currently the state of the futures right now. Okay. All right. So let's move on. Let's move on. By the way, expect increased volatility, elevated volatility when President Trump speaks. I don't have a schedule of him speaking, but right now, but they generally announce that the same day, you know. So whenever he decides he wants to have a little press conference, that's what they do. All right. All right, gang, let's get into our five to $50,000 in 1 year. This is the challenge that we started on January the 3rd or the 6th, I believe it was the 3rd. We're taking $5,000, turning into $50,000. We have the ability to, we're only trading the profits that we had made, but we have the ability to trade multiple times a day. All right, so this is kind of the criteria. And here's where we sit right now. We're currently ahead of the game by 1164, and we're at 43,284, which is you know we've got the sights of 50,000. We got that the target in sight, so we're only about 6,000 to 7,000 away from that. We'll see what happens, and we're inching our way up here. Several days ago, we had a little bit of a loss, $1,864 loss, threw us back down to 983, but we recouped that pretty quickly here. Did three trades each of the last 2 days. All right, and we're back up to 1164 to the good. So we hope to make our target. Well, I'm pretty sure by the end of August we should be over the 50,000. All right, so here's our 2-minute tutorial right now. We're going to talk about when and how to use a trailing stop. When and how to use a trailing stop. So here's the way I look at trailing stops. Here's what a trailing stop is, folks. Trailing stop is a stop that moves up, as does the stock, assuming you're doing calls. Of course, it goes down with puts. When it reverses, all right, the stop is going to trigger your sell order. So as the stock moves up, your trailing stop moves up with it. Let me see if I can get this up here. So when it comes back down to reverse, stop triggers your sell order, you get taken out. So the idea here is to make money as the stock goes in your direction. And that's kind of the idea behind all that, which is a pretty cool way of doing it. It can be used on any option. All right. I know a lot of people just like to use it on same day options or something, or options are going to expire soon because that's what has the greatest movement. But I also like to use it on my further out options too sometimes, not always. But sometimes I'll throw that in. If it's mostly when there's trending stocks. Okay, so if there's a real trending situation going on, then I will implement the trailing stop. Um, Most often, if the stock is just range bound, it's going to take you out for the loss. Like it's just going to take you out. So you want to get out of that range and into a trend. That's when the trailing stop is most effective. So here's the way I use it. So when I buy an option, I'll put it for sale for, say, a target, and let's say target of, well, I don't know, 12, 15 cents. Okay, kind of a scalp. Let's say 15 cents. Well, when I'm into profit of already say 12, 13, 14 cents, then I might change my sell order to a trailing stop whereby I'll have a 10-cent trailing stop on it. In other words, if it comes back down 10 cents, that'll trigger my sell order to sell. Okay. And that's kind of the way I do that. So I've locked in my 10 cents. If I'm okay with the 10-cent gain, I'll lock it in. But I want to make sure that I have that before I get into the trailing stop because I don't want to, say buy an option for $3, expect to make $3.10, but with the trailing stop, if I put in say 10-cent trailing stop, I get taken out for 288 or 290. That's not cool. So I don't want to do that. So that's kind of how I do that. So I like to put in my sell order first, then I change it to a trailing stop later when I'm already in my target price. Okay. And then once the trailing stop, of course, is hit, then it triggers my sell order. So here's the thing with trailing stops. You have to link it. You have to link it to something. So it'll trigger. So I have mine triggering on a market price when it hits a certain level, but the actual sell, I link it to the bid price. Now, I had a situation a long time ago, and I had to call the broker on this. I don't get it. I said to him because the market price difference between the bid and the ask might have been a couple of cents. I'm just throwing numbers out there. Let's say $3 and 305, and I'm selling and I got filled for 290. And I called the broker. I said, "How does this work?" The bid was 290, the ask was 3, and I got filled for 290 on the to sell it. And he asked, he said, "Yeah, I used a trailing stop. Yeah, did you you've got a link to what the market price?" I said, "Yeah, well, the market's between the 290 and the $3, or the $3 and 305." He said, "Right." He said, "When you link it to a market price," he said, "you got to understand a market price is a negotiated price." He said, "Link it to a solid price, like the bid. Link it to the bid price because everybody knows what the bid is. The bid is $3. It's not 301 and not 299. It's $3. If you link it to the bid price, that's a solid price, and that's going to now you know how much you're going to sell it for. It's not a negotiated price that could be out there somewhere, which is the same reason why I don't like to use market prices when I buy or sell. I don't want the market telling me what they're going to give me. I want to always use limit orders so that I know the least that I'm going to pay for an option when I buy something, or sorry, the most that I'm going to pay and the least that I'm going to get when I sell it. So whenever you use limit orders, again, a little bit of an offshoot to what we're talking about here, but when you use a limit order, what a limit order is, let's say I want to buy something, I want to buy an option. If I have a limit order of, say, $3, what that says to the market is I will pay up to $3. If the market price is 298, give it to me for that. So I will get it for 298 or 299 or whatever, but no more than $3. I always like to have I like to be able to tell the market what I am willing to pay the most, and conversely what I'm going to sell something at. So if I want to have a sale on for so say 305 for an option, I never want to use a market order. I am kind of getting a market order if I put 305, but I'm really telling the market is give me at least 305 or better for me. If you want to give me 306 or 307 or 308, I'll take that too. And that's what a limit order does. And that's exactly the same with the trailing stop when you link it to a solid price. So link it to the bid price, okay? And that's really about it for that. And that's why I know some people like to use trailing stops. I believe that is the best way to use it. At least that's the way I use it, and it works for me. And some people ask, well, how tight is your trailing stop? I like to use just a 10-cent trailing stop. I want to, it's a double-edged sword. I don't want to be too vague out there for price. But I like to have it. I have to have the option's ability to breathe, right? It has to vacillate up and down. I don't want to get taken out for much more than say 10 cents from where it is. So, but sometimes it'll go down 6 or 7 cents and it'll go back up, right? So you want to take advantage of that. You don't want that range too tight in there. Otherwise, you'll just get taken out for loss all the time. So anyway, that's the 2-minute tutorial. All right, folks, listen, if you're looking for market success, we have programs that work. Can invite you to join our tribe. We've got multiple programs that we offer you, one of which is our Day Trade Spy Signal. This is a particular option sent to your cell phone 3 to 5 times a week. Excuse me. It's algo-based morning trades. As soon as you get it, immediately put it up for sale for a 5% gain. Okay. Now, many of you who have taken our courses and been in our trading room understand how this works. And I know many of you, if not most of you, will take more than 5% on these trades. But if you're just looking for a straight, buy it, put up for sale, sell it, get just a straight percentage or a target price, just put up for sale for a 5% gain. Now, if it's not sold by the end of the day, sell it for the market price. Um, it has had its challenges last little while, but it's been generally pretty good. And I suspect from here on out, now that we know we're always tweaking this thing, the algorithm on this. Right? We're always tweaking it. So I think once we know how the markets change, because it's always a dynamic thing, it's always changing. So you always have to tweak it once in a while. But once you tweak it, it just works like a charm. So you want to get in on that one. Folks, contact customer service at DayTradeSPY for the best pricing. You get all of our programs on the website. If you go to our website, daytradespy.com, they're all available there. But I think that if you contact customer service at DayTradeSpy and actually tell them what you're looking for, what you're interested in, they'll generally give you a little bit better price than what you can get on the website. So that is the Day Trade Spy signal, which is really ideal because you don't have to be tied to your computer. All right, most of the people that I know that have the DayTradeSPY signal, they have their trading platform as an app on their cell phone. So they just stop whatever they're doing. If you're taking your kids to school, or you're working, or you're just not available to sit in front of your computer, but you've got your cell phone with you, you can actually stop what you're doing for a minute. You get the signal, go to your app, put it in for sale, go and buy it right away, put up for sale, come back later, and the money is in your account. I mean, that is the beauty of this thing. You don't even have to be by your computer. The next step, of course, is our DayTradeSPY pick of the day, in which case, good idea to be in front of your computer. This is a particular option that is emailed to you at about 9 o'clock Eastern Time every day. Now, if you don't get it, well, you will get an email, but if there's no pick that day, which is very rare, that just means that we don't have the confidence in any which trade because chances are something like maybe the volatility is too high, too crazy, and you're probably going to lose your money. So when you get an email that says there's no pick today, consider that we're saving your rear end. Okay, all right, that's kind of the way that works. So, but generally we've had a pick just about every day. Again, I can't remember the last time we did not have a pick. Now the pick of the day is actually hand picked. So my partner in crime, John Johnson, the retired Eagle Financial Publications guru, John Johnson, he didn't stay retired for very long. A couple of months, and he came back as my partner in the trading room. But he and I get together every morning. We decide, we determine, we bring up all of our resources and all the different news sources, and we look at what's happened, what's going to happen. The technical indicators. We bring all that stuff in together, put it into a big mixture, and then see what comes out. Is it a call or a put? And that's what we put up for sale. You get this sent to your inbox 9 o'clock in the morning. Immediately put it up for sale for 6% gain. And these may be held overnight if they are not sold. Now, according to our reporting practices that Eagle kind of wants us to do, we do have to have some sort of closure on these trades every day. So we say that, okay, if it's not sold by the end of the day, we'll sell for market value. But again, that's rare that that happens. And every now and then we do get a close that is a loser in that regard. But most often, if you just hold these overnight, they will come into a really nice profit. Again, same as with the DayTradeSPY signal, contact customer service at DayTradeSPY for the best pricing. Next up, we have our inner circle. This is where our morning market assessment is sent to you at 9 o'clock, prepared by none other than John Johnson. Very detailed. All right. When I used to do it, it was very brief. I don't know what you guys rather have, brief or very detailed, but he goes to great lengths and provides a lot of great information on these things. But here's the thing, let us do the heavy lifting in the morning, right? So you don't have to. So everything is compiled in this nice little package, sent to your inbox, 9 o'clock, and that's all you have to read, really. You also get a follow-up report later in the day as to what we actually did, and sometimes it comes in the evening as well. And you'll also be invited to our Wednesday night weekly meetups. Now, this is where you can ask John any questions at all relating to SPY options, day trading, charts, chart setups, chart patterns, anything at all, indicators, anything at all. All right, every Wednesday night, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. And here's the nice thing, these things are actually recorded for later review in case you miss them. It's not a problem. You can get the review, and I know a lot of people, especially in Europe, they're going to be sleeping when this event happens, right? So they get up in the morning, there it is. The recording is already in their inbox. They click it, they just listen to this for 45 minutes to an hour and 15, whatever it goes till, and they get some really great information. Also, a lot of great information regarding like Fibonacci, Andrew's pitchfork, and just a general market assessment. So it's really worth going into this. Folks, you have no idea what value you have right here with your fingertips for very little money. You have the benefit of two pro traders right here in your back pocket. I can tell you, I sure wish I had a Hugh and John back when I was learning this stuff. Because I'm pretty sure I'd be mega rich right now, okay? We went to great lengths, both John and myself, independently, unbeknownst to each other, great lengths in learning this stuff. Very expensive. We spent a lot of money, had a lot of losses, a lot of gains. A lot of effort, a lot of everything went into learning what we know, and now we are telling you what we know. No stone left unturned, is what we say. Folks, this is an outstanding way to get started. If you are new, it's a great way to stay in the know. If you are a seasoned trader, the inner circle, you don't want to miss this. And it's also very affordable. Again, for the same thing, just like the other services, you can get it on our website, or if you don't mind waiting a little bit, and I'm not talking about a long time, just email customer service at daytradespy.com for pricing. Tell them you want the inner circle. What's the best deal you can give me? They'll probably say something like, "Well, we got a special on that for $89 for the first quarter." And I believe that's what it was last time I talked to them. So $89 for the first quarter, you're talking about less than $30 a month, right? Less than $30 a month, which is about 685 a week. Split that in 5 days. You're talking about a dollar, seriously, a dollar 37 a day. In my books, that's less than a cup of coffee, folks. I think it's less than a small cup of coffee at Dunkin', isn't it? I don't know what a small cup of coffee costs at Dunkin', but I don't imagine it's much more than what you're going to get with the inner circle. And again, we do the heavy lifting in the morning. You get follow-up reports. You get the inner circle meeting on Wednesdays live if you're there, and record if you're not. I mean, it's a no-brainer. This is a no-brainer. Every trader out there should be on the inner circle. Next up, of course, is our famous, world-renowned trading room, hosted by yours truly. Myself, my name is Humble Hugh, and John. We give him all kinds of names: Just a John, Juxtaposition John, Jovial John, Jolly John. We've yet to come with a real good name for him. But so here you have two seasoned pros in your back pocket, discussing the trading of the day in the trading room every morning between 9:20 and 10:30 Eastern Time. This is when our strategies come alive. So different strategies. We've got our OMG out of the morning gate, bread and butter strategy. We've got our scalping strategy, and we completely narrate the entire thing. You can follow along with us, or you can just get our information, make your own executive decisions as to whether you're going to get into a trade or not. Any questions are answered. These are interactive sessions. You're going to watch and learn. It's exciting trading. We answer your questions right there in the questions box, so you can do that. Folks, we teach what we trade, and we trade what we teach. I don't have to tell you that the stock market is like a university you can never graduate out of. It's always changing. And there's always new things happening here. They're introducing new things. Years ago years ago when I started this, options expired the third Friday of every month. That was it. There were no daily expirations. There was no Monday and Wednesday and quarterlies. None of that. Monthlies. There was none of that. That all happened in the time that I was trading. In fact, options codes were different than they are now. And I always thought that's kind of weird. These options codes that didn't really seem to make any sense, but then they changed them so they do actually make sense now. So there's a lot of stuff that's always changing, and you have to be aware of it. We didn't have crypto back years ago. Now they do, but we don't trade it. But is it affecting the market? I believe the market's seeing new highs, and all the reports that I see, it's because of the retail traders, right? So there's a lot of stuff going on there. Um, we trade what we teach, we trade what we teach, and we teach what we trade. So we don't give you everything about the stock market, only what makes sense to us. I get a lot of people saying, well, only use these indicators, and how about the RSI or this indicator, that indicator? I said, what about them? We don't use them. Yeah, I know what most of them are, I'm guessing, or some of them, I don't know, I haven't used them all. But I know what many of them are. And unless I find them particularly useful for what I'm trading, there's no sense in putting them on my chart. I don't like a lot of clutter on my chart, especially things that are, um, redundant. If I have an indicator that's giving me the information, then why do I need a second indicator to give me the same information? I remember having one of my students, Mike, guys from New Jersey. He took my course. He was doing very well with it. Went off on his own. He was making money. Then one day, he emails me, says, Hugh, it's not working anymore. What's not working, Mike? It's working for me. What are you doing? He's telling me to get talking back and forth, back and forth. Finally, I said, Mike, I want you to tell me everything, every indicator, everything you have on your charts. I want to see everything you have on your charts. And he starts naming all these different things that I said, where'd that come from, Mike? Where did this number come? What is this indicator? Why do you have the Darvis box down there? I said, well, my friend so and so told me about this. My other friend so and so told me about that, and this and that. And oh, I see, Mike. Do you find that maybe you get into the trade and then it suddenly turns against you? It's the end of the trend? Yeah, that's exactly what's happening to you. I said, well, do you think that maybe you're waiting for all of those crazy indicators, right, to hit that sweet spot and then you get in? And I said, here's what I want you to do. I told him all the indicators that I use, and I said, everything else, I want you to rip them off your charts, throw them all in the East River. You don't need them. You don't need them because you're waiting for all of these things to materialize, right? And by that time, it's the end of the trend. No longer your friend, Mike. And you know what? After he did that, guess what? He started making money again. Sometimes more is less. Is that what I want to say? No, less is more. Less is more. Less is more. More is not always good, right? You want quality indicators, not quantity. Anyway, moving along, you do get your questions answered in the trading room. And we've been doing this now since 2010. That makes us one of the longest, if not the longest that I know of, trading room out there. I don't know of any other longer trading room. If there is, I don't know about it. But anyway, folks, we've been doing this a long time. We're in our 16th year. Um, and we've even outlasted a couple marriages that I know. Friends get married. Oh, yeah, wow. So you guys want to get married? You just met like, 2 months ago. Oh. And the one couple I know, they lasted about 5 or 6 years, then they called it quits. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But we've been going at this a long time, folks. I think we figured it out what works both trading and training. So you want to get in on this, all right? You want to get in on this. All right. Again, contact customer service at DayTradeSPY for pricing. Now, as I understand it, the price is something like 6.99 for a quarter. That's 233 for a month. Divide that by 4.33. You're talking about 53. Was that $53 a week? You're talking about $10, 10, $11 a day. I don't even imagine you can get a good Subway lunch for that price. Maybe you can, but that's not a lot of money for the information you have. Immediate responses to your questions, for all the guidance, for the the mentorship, all of that. That's nothing, nothing. Anyway, folks, customer service at Day Trade Spy for pricing. All right, let's get into the questions now. Questions. Yes, there is a question here. Question was, hi, Hugh on Schwab ThinkerSim. I want to have three screens set up operating from my computer. Please explain how it is done. So let me see if I can pull up here Schwab. I remember I pulled that up. Who did that? Benjamin, I think. So this here is um, a blank screen on Thinkorswim. And if you want three charts, go to the top right here where it says Setup. You'll see a box. Click on that. And you can have as many screens as you want, as many charts as you want. I can have, what is this, something like 24 charts, right? 2, 4, 6, 8, right? 2, 4, 6, 8 times 4 was that 32 charts, 32 charts. I don't want 32 charts. I just want three charts going across horizontally. So what we're going to do is going to go to the setup here. I'm just moving my cursor across this grid here. You see how they're highlighted? So I'm moving my, so if I highlight and then I go down here and then I click, I'm going to have 8 charts vertically. I'm going to go back up here and I'm going to just go to the three charts. Again, just move my cursor onto the three charts and then click. Now I have my three charts going across horizontally. Now, for each chart up here at the top left, you can install your signal, your symbol. And if I go to the top left and if I punch up SPY, SPY, I have that on my left chart. Left chart. And if I want to extend them to the other charts, what I do there is you see just to the right of that where it says symbol link, it's a red one. Go to the other charts and where you see the symbol link, change that to your red one. And on all three charts, and you're going to have the same charts, the same symbol straight across. So if I want to change my symbol to say Amazon, AMZN, all three are going to show up as Amazon. And there it is right there, right? And if I want to change, if I want to have them all separate, I just change that link to something else. Let's say yellow 2, I've got Tesla. This one here, let's say I want to make this the blue 3, I've got Google. So now they are all separate. But if I want to change them all to the same one, make sure they're all linked to the same one. And there you have it. Okay. That's how you do it. All right. All right. Some other questions here. Actually, a little light on the questions here tonight. Da. If you think it's range bound, I think we're going back to the trailing stop here. If you think it's range bound, use a limit order. But if you think it's trending, use a stop. It's a tough decision point where you need to decide whether you think it's trending or range bound. Okay, so sometimes you see where the stock just moves fast, right? It's moving, it's busted out of your resistance, it's going up like crazy, news coming up or news happened or whatever reason. Those are the times I changed my stop, my limit stop to a trailing stop. So once I have already my targeted price that I'm okay with, say 10 cents, if I'm looking for 10 cents or 12 cents, when I already have that in my profit, then I'll change my stop from a limit order to a trailing stop. All right, and then as the market continues to go up, it raises my trailing stop, and sometimes I'll have 20 or 30 or 40, 50 cents in the trade just with the trailing stop as it goes. Whereas if I get out for, say, 10 or 12 cents, well, that's my profit, which usually is pretty good too, but it's really nice to get that extra push. Okay. So hopefully that makes some sense. So, all right. Question: do you think Friday's pick, the calls will come back this week? We shall see. I am anticipating that they're going to make some recovery because the last 2 days, Thursday and Friday, we had a real massive drop. We really did have a massive drop, and usually you do see a recovery. Okay, you do see a recovery, and let me just get this out of the way here. Hang on a second, folks. I'm kind of jumping ahead of this myself here. All right, so that's what we do here. So, all right, what indicators do you use? Okay, I don't want to get too deep into my strategies. I have limited indicators, so between John and myself, we will use some exponential moving averages, support resistance, chart patterns. John tends to use more Fibonacci and pitchfork. He combines them. We combine our indicators in a certain way, but you really need to be in the trading room to have total access to all that information and all the details as to what we use and how to use it. It's not just a matter of having them, but how to use them. And I think that's really important. A lot of people will have the indicators online, but they don't know how to properly use them. So they lose, right? It's like I don't know, it's like driving a car or something. You've got all the different features of a car, but if you don't know how to use them, you're kind of missing out on some stuff here. For myself, I'm still trying to figure out the that control panel in the middle there with all the different features. And one of the things I have to do is, okay, so this has nothing to do with trading, but when I walk by my car, it wants to unlock everything and get everything ready to go, right? I think it might even put the air conditioner on. I don't know, but so I have to figure out how to disable that feature so that if I happen to walk by my car, say in the garage or something, I don't want the car to start or get ready for me to go. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. So to do not lock and unlock and everything going off. So actually, I believe there's a YouTube video I got to check to see how to do that. So anyway, All right, all right. Setting up Tasty. So here's the funny thing about Tasty. I use Tasty Trade. And also use Schwab Thinkorswim. Um, we generally show how to use Thinkorswim because here's the thing with Tasty. They don't have a paper account. It's all live. So and by law, FINRA rules, we're not supposed to show you our real accounts. We can only show you our paper trade accounts. So kind of an awkward situation. We'd like to show you how to use Tasty as well. And I think we might have a video somewhere on how to use Tasty. Um, but I believe if you come and join us in our trading room and ask about that, I could probably pull up the Tasty and at least maybe talk you through that. Who did that? I think that's Kurt. Kurt did that. So come in the trading room and we'll see if we can kind of get you a run through on Tasty. All right, we'll see what happens on this. So, all right. How do you make the charts show 1 minute, 5 minute, 50? Okay, getting back to the charts, right? All right, so just ignore these all these things on here. I'm not going to go into the chart setup here. Again, this is for a more detailed, say, at a Wednesday night session in a circle or something. You have to be a member of it to get all this information. But up here at the top here, see where it says 1M? That's a 1 minute chart. You can actually change the time frame. Time frame, 1 day, 1 minute. If you want to change that to 5 minute or 4 minute or whatever. Same in the middle here. Instead of a daily chart, I've got that saying a 5 minute. The first one, the one here on the left, I've got that set as a 1 minute. 5 in the middle. The other one here, I have that set from a daily to a 15 minute. The number of days really doesn't really matter. I generally have 2 or 3 days at least on each chart. But now every one of these candlesticks or bars, whatever you have them, represents the time that you have it set for. And one on the left, every one of these represents a 1 minute in time, which we'll find on the bottom, right? And the one in the middle represents 5 minutes. So you need five 1 minute candles to equal one 5 minute candle in the middle. And obviously the same sort of system is true for the 15-minute chart. Three 5 minute candles equals one 15-minute chart, right? Simple as that. Okay, just go up to the top, that top bar here in the blue, right where it says the time frame setup. Click on the time frame setup. You've got a choice here. Hit your time frames and make your adjustments there, whatever the time interval that you want, how many days, and the aggregation period right there. Set it up to 5 minute or 1 minute or whatever. And I think it even goes down to, do we have, I thought I had a custom. What was a custom? I can't remember. I thought they had a thing what's it called? It wasn't a time. It wasn't, it was intraday. I guess I don't have it anymore. I think it was by the number of trades or something, or the number of orders or something. But anyway, that's what that is. I use the 1, 5, and 15. That's all I use. So, all right, other questions here. Is the pick of the day picked by a computer set algorithm or the okay? So the SPY day trade SPY signal is an algorithm, and the SPY pick of the day is John and myself hammering out every morning what the pick is going to be. All right. That's got a human component to it. The pick of the day's got a human component to it. So, all right. So we only trade SPY all the time. We don't trade anything else. Not interested in the Qs or the diamonds. Not interested in the individual stocks. Nothing like that. We only trade the S&P 500. Essentially, where the economy goes, where the S&P 500 goes, that's where SPY goes, and that's all we are trading. So, again, Kurt, if you would please join us in the trading room because there's a lot of great information we want to pass on to you on that. We want to see you successful. So, all right, Daniel said, just speak nicely to the car. Yeah, I tried that. I tried that. I hit so I've got a car that I don't know, it's really high tech, and oh, I miss those days. I think my father had a 1966 Chevrolet Impala. That was a good car. It had a 283 engine in it. I didn't know anything about cars. I was a kid, but that was a good car, and it was easy to fix. Backyard mechanics could fix it. You wanted to do a tune-up, you go to your local auto parts store, you get your plugs and points, whatever it was. Get a couple guys, six pack of beer. Saturday morning, your car's all tuned up. Now, oh my gosh, you're not getting anywhere under the hood, buddy. That's what they say, and just try it. Just try it. Yeah, no, it doesn't work that way. No, in fact, my dealer calls me to tell me when to take the car in because they track me. Last time I got tracked, the dealer told me how many miles. I said, okay, how do you know it's time to take the car in for an oil change? And he told me how many miles I have on my car. And I'm checking my odometer. He was within, I think, 10 miles of being accurate. I said, okay, Joe, how do you know how many miles I have? He said, well, it's in your key fob. What happens is all this information is stored on your key fob and it sends it back to, Mercedes or BMW or wherever it goes. They know all this stuff, which is pretty scary stuff. So now, in answer to Daniel's comment here, just speak nicely to the car. I tried that, and let's put it this way: Siri and I are not on speaking terms right now. Siri, take me to my friend Bert's house. Here's the address. I give him the address, and I get back. I have dropped the temperature to 58 degrees. Air conditioner is on, 58 degrees. Siri, that's not what I asked. Well, sir, if you speak clearly. Anyway, we go back and forth. Siri. Anyway. Okay. So comment here, pick of the day. Pick of the day's been a bit of a challenge. There's some good days. We've had some challenges here. Um, but we're going to be refining the code a little bit, or at least looking at things. So there were a couple of days this last week that the pick of the day, John and I, we're really convinced based on chart patterns and news and everything else, but the market lost confidence in the market because of the Trump tariffs. So we had to revise our system. But here's the thing. We have a thing that where it says, well, listen, if you lose 40%, you might want to consider dumping them because it's just a little tough to get back up on top when you're down that much, or some at the end of the day, or hold on to them until the next day. Now, these trades, the pick of the day, and also the signal, they have a long out expiration. Generally speaking, you can hold those overnight, even hold them for 2, 3, 4 days. And I know that I am in some trades, and similar to that, I'm holding overnight with the expectation that it's going to come back up. So that's kind of where we're looking on that one. Okay, so I need a little extra patience these days for that. So all right, question: do I really need the pick of the day if I'm in the trading room? It's a whole separate program, and a lot of people have all of our programs. So you do get the pick right at the beginning, but the trading room, um, I mean, we don't do the pick in the trading room. We talk about it after the fact, okay, because it is a separate subscription. So some people are not able to get in the trading room, but they do want to pick, so they'll take the pick. That's why it's a separate subscription, but they are two completely different animals, right? All right. I've been in for some time. Why did the pick of the day go up so high in price? Tim, I'm not aware that it's high in price. As far as I remember, it's very well priced. So you might want to just contact customer service at DayTradeSPY once again to check that. Uh, and another question, Thinkorswim order ticket has a default quantity of 10. Can that default be changed to 11 to 1? Absolutely you can. I'll show you how. Go up here to the setup up at the top right. Go to setup. Go to application settings. And when you get to application settings, it's one of these systems in here, order defaults. Click on your order default tab, go to options, change your default quantity of orders to 11. Apply settings, and you should be good to go. All right. Once again, setup, application settings, order defaults, options, default quantity of orders, Apply settings. There you go. All right. So what else? Just curious. Well, the futures are doing. Futures. Oh, S&P is up 1375, 14. Do I see 1425? Back to 1375. 5960 for the Dow, the Nasdaq. The Dow's up 76. So they've risen since we last looked at them about an hour ago. All right, more questions here. I need some learning first how to do what? How to do what, Kurt? All right. Again, people ask, well, I need to know how to trade before I can get in the trading room. Absolutely not, folks. If you know what calls and puts are, you're okay to be in the trading room. All right, we teach you everything else. That's where you learn everything in the trading room. Okay, that's where you want to be. So, uh, Rainey says, yeah, Siri's a bit rude to my wife too. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, again, Tim, I don't know what the rates are now. That was $400 a quarter when I had it. Again, contact customer service. The rates tend to change whenever. So, all right, folks, we are going to have a contest here. So, what I want you to do is pick a number between 1 and 100, 1 and 100, and I want you to put it in the questions box. I'm going to give you about 30 seconds to do that. All right, 30 seconds to do that. Let's go back. Oh, where do we go? Where do we go? And then let's see, what time is it now? Okay, we're gonna give it another time. Let's just sit back and wait, and just wait, and get until all. Okay, here comes all the numbers. I'll get them all. Oh my gosh, we have a lot of people chiming in here. A lot of people chiming in, and the winner is going to get the ebook Triumphs and Tragedies. By the way, this is, I think, a 40-some page ebook. It's all about true stories of people in my training room. All right, people in my trading room, not in my trading room, just people in general in the program. And it's interesting because we had a lot of winners and a lot of losers. And if you can avoid the losers, then you'll be much better for it. That three is not the number, folks. This is just left over from last week. All right, so I'm going to cut you off now. All right, the last cutoff right now is Richard W. Okay, no more, no more. Okay, here we go. Oh, we still got a couple. Okay, Irving. Who else? Bill F. Okay, cut off now. Cut off. Okay, here it is. Now we are going to hit the button here. I believe this is here, right there. I think this is what I have to hit. It is not three. I'm going to hit the button and get the random number. The random number is 56. 56. So now what I'm going to do is go through the numbers real quick here, and I better start writing some of these numbers down as to who's going to be the closest. 56 is the random number. Okay, bear with me here. I had 52 that I saw. That was the closest. Ed. Oh my God. Seriously, Ed? Okay. All right. Okay. What's the number? 56. Closest to could be over or could be under. Okay. And I've got 55 here for Angie. 55 for Angie. 54. So far, Angie. Angie has it, folks. Angie. All right. She is our winner. She came to 55. Irving came in at close at 54, and Ed came in close at 52. Everybody else, as I see it, came in different numbers. So, all right. Congratulations to Angie. She won the ebook, Triumphs and Tragedies. Let's park these guys over to the side. That will be sent to you shortly after the session. As always, folks, been a pleasure. Thank you for joining us. The recording will be out shortly. I believe tomorrow it should be online. And been a pleasure. By the way, if you stay on long enough, you're going to get the subscription page to our world famous Day Trade Spy trading room. See you online.
Trust the process and keep your eyes on the prize. I can tell you what I'm seeing. You can